Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the PirateDiffusion show. We've got Mr. Captain Morgan Freeman, Eggs Benadryl, and myself, Squibduck.
Hello, Telegram.
Need some rendering.
This show is sponsored by the Apple Eye Sombrero. That is the Steve Jobs came back. Sombrero. Sombrero. This would be a good tie-in for the new translate command.
Yeah.
Messed it up.
You could translate it
later.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate our Halloween render challenge winner. This is an amazing piece. Really lovely.
Oh, so good.
A bunch of cool ones. Prime as well got one in for the Halloween show, and all the prompts are in the challenge channel. Check it out. And we have a new challenge, $225 pot. The sponsor is a fashion judge, and they have connections to factories producing fashion goods in New York. Reached out to us to show them some cool fashion prompts, and we've got some examples here of the kind of stuff that they can produce. A really interesting contest. You can actually have your render produced as a real product. You can win some cash. Yeah, it's serious business. And they're building an AI tool with our API, as is pretty neat. So that's the connection. Anybody can build AI, anything with the API on our website.
That's so good.
Oh, we've got a brand new website, Spiffy. A new feature section. All the commands, I broke this out by intermediate and expert. So we've got unannounced features.
Sneak preview.
Yeah. It's a labor of love.
Design. Super helpful.
What have you guys been rendering? What are you up to?
A little bit of everything.
So what's your favorite new concept?
So I've been doing a lot of Excel lately as a base model, and then using some of my favorite stylized 1.5 models, because you get a lot of different compositions and stuff like that, and it really listens to you. I think I have a few in the chat here that I was just doing.
Let's check them out.
Take a look. Let's start at the beginning here. So yeah.
Wow.
My block of text. Now there's my prompt. Old 1.5 models would be trained on certain artists or genres, but it picks up artists so well that with almost any Excel model, you can really even feel the style without much tweaking, really. And there's one of those sites that gives you examples for all sorts of different artists, and I'll pull up my favorite one that I found. I'll put this in the chat and in the support group. But it's SDXL, PirateZone.art. Number of styles tested here, 4,387. So
wow.
You can definitely, and you can see how different they are and how well it picks up the artist. Keith Haring here. That doesn't look like anything else other than Keith Haring to me. So it really picks up on the style, and a lot of different models work well with it.
It's amazing. I've been seeing
really
some
cool,
incredible results just flooding all the different channels.
And then those fantasy and artist reference you see here. And then what I've been doing is taking that and remixing it basically with that Doom Boom retro fantasy model. And that really pumps up the quality. That's how sometimes it puts weird ladies where they don't belong.
That's gorgeous. Wow.
Yeah, my prompt here is, rather than being a mix of commas and little short keywords, Kraken in icy ocean emerges from the deep ocean. I even repeated myself, and it knew what I was talking about.
So that's Doom Boom, yeah?
Yeah, and then pretty much any Excel model to begin with that you like.
Top 3 Excel models? Eggs?
I think so far, I've enjoyed, let's see, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Duckheiten? Some sort of
That's how I say it.
German? Yeah.
Duckheiten.
So that one's been really responsive to a bunch of different styles, and especially the artists. Some of these models start out really photorealistic, but that doesn't mean that they can't do other things very well. You'd be surprised, like the RealViz model. That one can do illustration pretty easily. So I've been liking RealViz, this Duckheiten. I think it's Run XL. That one seems to be pretty versatile as well.
Oh yeah, I like that one. It has like a Venom promo photo.
Yeah.
Carnage. Carnage.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was designed to do, but I know that it can do pretty much anything I've thrown at it.
Alrighty. Now you're mentioning, what is it called? AI or not? I knew him here at PirateDiffusion.
Yeah,
is that right?
The new topic Captain made a little bit ago. Pretty fun.
So the premise is, if you're not sure if an image is AI or not, you just throw it in.
Look at the first one here.
That's so funny.
The tree definitely has facial hair.
And like human lips.
It went viral on Facebook.
Yeah, there's the dead giveaways, I think, a lot of the time. You see a lot of the fine lines of the bricks. That seems a little odd. Are they Are they centimeter tall bricks?
I think one of my comments was, the tree kind of melts into the bricks at the top of the image, like right along the top. It's a lot hard to see, but it's amazing these days. The fact that we can probably consider this, it's this narrow moment in time when AI generated art is still a little bit distinguishable. There's a couple tells in, I imagine, 10, 15 years, maybe 2 to 3 years. There's no way you'll be able to tell the difference.
Well, it's those little things. This dog one's pretty good. This one was really hard to tell.
Oh,
yeah, I can't quite tell. It's interesting if you zoom in on some of these, you can start to see if there's a high detail noise or repetition.
Dog has 5 legs.
Oh, really? Is that it? Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
I paused. Yeah, that's how I
paused. Oh, nice catch.
But otherwise, you never know. If you just look, especially if you just scroll on your phone all day, you'd have to look at this even if you were an AI expert for more than a second to notice.
I imagine you sorry, go ahead.
I was so addicted to, do you guys remember Crayon? Which I guess they're still going. Crayon was my first exposure to web AI. Yeah.
Wasn't it? I think it ran Dolly Mini. Yeah.
I have a bunch of Crayon images saved from a year ago, and they're so low fidelity compared to what's possible today. It's just not even comparable.
I saved a lot of it. I was like, this is so cool. What a really cool idea. I go back
they're still
straight to the bin.
I think it was Prime, right? He had a pretty cool idea of taking some of those old renders from something like that and then using a remix to see what you could turn them into.
That's fun.
We're pretty amazing.
Yeah,
so
I remember that.
The blurry framework and make a beautiful image out of it.
That's a cool workflow idea in general. One of the guys in the anime group starts with a really outrageous anatomy or proportions that's very easy to pull off with an anime model, and then he'll do remix into realism.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. The models have different compositions that they'll do that a realism would never do.
For poses also, I feel like, especially the borrow tags that some of these anime models do so well, it's easier to get a pose and into some leg break anime is really easy to prompt for.
Leg lifts and all weird, sexy anime poses.
Yeah. Jacko pose.
Those are I don't think
I need to invite
the realism models for those.
Yeah. That's a good point. I need to invite Gabe and Panda to the show. They're doing all the the model requests. Curious what their favorite models are.
Oh, absolutely. Do you have a favorite model these days?
Food porn.
Oh, is that the name of it? Oh my goodness.
It's everything's just pops.
Oh yeah.
Really cool.
I like noise. It's just called noise. And I might have mentioned it on the previous episode, but if you haven't used noise yet, it doesn't just add noise, but it darkens everything. It makes it a lot more moody. It's really interesting. It can just really ramp up it's almost like a contrast because the darks are way darker and the highlights are fewer and more punchy.
Is that truck right there on your screen? Is that used? I would think so. It looks like it.
Probably. Let me just scroll down.
I think its trigger is dimly lit, I think.
Yeah, it might be buried in the
that's a great render though.
Yeah, most of the bots in this channel render with noise. It's just so good.
Post that truck on Facebook and get a bunch of likes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. No Photoshop, guys.
Oh yeah, hired a photographer.
That's it. We waited for the right moment.
That's a great look. It's such a professional ad agency production value. That's really nice.
Oh yeah, there's some just like really nice combinations of like short punchy prompts that just really bump up the quality, combined with certain aspect ratios and just the right amount of guidance, so it doesn't look all blown out or what have you. There's some really interesting combos, and I know everybody's got their own like personal preferences when they render, but that's I think one of the most wonderful things
point about the aspect ratio out there, because certain photos are pretty much taken in very specific aspect ratios, I would think. So that's a very good point. I never really think of.
It's fun. I used to stay pretty conservative with noise. So the actual command, it would be something like this. So it would be angle bracket noise and a colon and then the numerical value. I used to get a little bit worried that once I get up past, like with most LoRa's, once you get past like 0.9, it would be the shadow realm. Who knows what's going to happen up there. But one of the cool things about noise, it doesn't seem to have a ceiling or a floor. You can even go to the negatives. You can do negative 0.5, or you can do negative 5, or you can do negative 99999. And no matter what you put in, if you lock the prompt, you'll get very different results. with this many nines versus that many nines. Totally different image. I don't know what's going on under the hood, but it's super interesting.
Does it typically just change the lighting, or does it change it entirely, even with everything locked?
I haven't done enough like testing A and B to be able to answer that, but I do know that it's super fun to play with, and the results are there's something else.
And some of these lures sure have really unique settings. They really behave so differently from each other.
Absolutely. It's almost like you can feel the guiding hand of the person who trained it, depending on what keeps coming up.
Or just the pure randomness of however they did it.
Yeah. That's why I like Dark Voyage. That was one of my favorite ones for the longest time. Super creepy.
Oh, that's a fun thing we did for Halloween is if you do a render with guidance 0, the images that appear are just otherworldly, just very bizarre. I saw some recently in the
between the layer.
Yeah.
Nightmarish.
Very nightmarish, paper mache, really just unusual. Let me see if I can find some here in the Not Safe for Work Dali group. It's a great one. Oh, I love this one with the shoes. I'm not related to our conversation.
There you go. There's still a topic in the horror group for 0 guidance.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's pretty hard to look at some of this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to look away.
Yeah. We'll censor a little bit in post. I'll put a happy face.
Oh, that's awesome. 0 guidance? Or is that the fashion result?
Yeah, submit that. It's the new trend.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
It's pretty uncomfortable, that's for sure. Jeez.
That's when you're outside of the simulation.
They live glasses.
Definitely not YouTube friendly.
So funny.
There's some weird stuff on there.
Oh, real quick, I wanted to show the prompt inspiration room. Got some. Oh, look at this one. Giant UFO hat on Charlie Sheen. That's great.
That's what he was wearing all through 2007.
We were messing around with the Steve Jobs hat thing, and we were just putting silly hats on people. That was a fun day.
Oh.
Some really great prompts in here. Some really cool ideas. Thousands of just stunning prompts in here. For anyone that's got brain fog, it's a great resource.
I definitely send people there if they're asking for some generalized help there. It's like, hey, that's how that was rendered. All those words, take a look, see what kind of things you can get out from that.
I love this one from Mark. Also, thanks everybody who is in the prompt room and answering questions at all hours. Love that about the community is
for sure.
So many helpful folks.
It's so diverse. Everybody's got their own specializations and their own favorites. It's really hard to miss a day and think you're not missing out on some really cool juicy tips. Because every time I go into this channel,
yeah, there's just such great stuff on here.
Oh, that's so random.
Oh yeah, my frog man the other day.
That's so cool.
So vibrant too.
Yeah. And that's one of the neat things. So those are the things in that channel you're looking at there, Morgan. Those are basically just as the staff and the volunteers here see extraordinarily impressive works. They get bumped up and featured in that channel.
And we're working on a feature command and a folio page. So everyone has a web portfolio with feature your best stuff.
Hey, that's one of mine.
Shameless self-promotion.
Click on that one. Good.
Yeah, I definitely like forwarding stuff there that is really unique or just has a different composition or something, some kind of new take on something I've never seen before. Like that one, definitely. Right there. The diver.
Oh, that's so cool. That reminds me of a retro like novel cover, like some weird, surrealistic novel from the 70s or 80s.
I love that about the groups, and I discover so many models.
Something might have a boring sounding name, but then you see some examples from it and you're like, wow, I really slept on that model.
Oh, yeah. It's hard not to. There's so many.
I think there were only a handful when I started just less than a year ago. So I think it's just skyrocketed. And the model's quality too has gotten so much better.
Yeah, it really has.
I'm excited to see what people do with XL in that realm. Just the difference in quality we've seen from 1.5 just in 6 months. I'm curious to see how XL just explodes.
I'm happy that people are training XL LoRa's just because of what happened with Stable Diffusion 2.1, where it had so much promise and it looks great, but the community didn't really take to it, and I was nervous about the same thing happening with XL. But quite an update.
I think it's just a matter of time, I think, before it really, in pretty much every way, surpasses 1.5.
I think so too. Definitely a lot of promise.
No doubt.
But like you said, like some things are still harder to do in XL. Certain anatomy.
Sure. I find remix is hit and miss with XL. You always have the choice to take it to a 1.5 model, like I've been doing with these fantasy ones. If you like a model, like how it looks, you can always change models with a remix or more.
Style transfer, yeah, that's really cool.
That's a good point. I love your wizard art. My goodness. That's yours, right? That's one of your, is that Doom Boom?
Yeah, put that up in a head shop or something. The record store from the 70s.
Dang. You can just print that straight to a tapestry.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
That's lovely.
It really, that guy really nailed his 1.5 model. So I'm really excited to see how he develops his XL model.
Yeah, it's one of the, not only you can go for a couple of days, and when you come back from your vacation or whatever, and just look at what the community is rendering. And it's, I've never heard of this model. Look at these images. That's crazy. Or what feature are they rendering with? What's their secret? What's the latest command that everybody's using? And it's amazing because of that social aspect. You wouldn't really get that if you're just sitting around rendering like with auto on your own in your little bubble. It's this intoxicating, like constant, it's almost like in social media apps with their reels or whatever. You're just constantly seeing what everyone else is working on. And it's really electric.
And the ability to use the ShowPrompt is key to that. Yeah, you can really dissect somebody's prompt, provided that they shared the caption there with us.
Absolutely.
We get a lot of questions about ShowPrompt. Maybe we should do a quick demo and help people with the ShowPrompt command.
Sure.
That's questions that comes up in support quite a bit. If you want to take the wheel on that one.
Yeah, Eggs, do you want to send an image to Father's Workshop channel? And then I can try to figure out how you rendered it?
Stick one of those fantasy ones and see what it looks like all blown out.
Challenge.
Let's see.
Interesting. Right. Wow, that's a really nice one. It has sent me this beautiful rendering here. And I'm looking, I clicked on the image, right? So I'm in Telegram and I've clicked the image because I'm thinking, how do I render this? Or I want to render more just like that. So I'm noticing as I scroll down, I can see things here. I can see some syntax, seems to be some spaces and a few other things. And then it's not clear. I'm not really sure how to proceed. So a pretty interesting and handy way to basically capture that same input that someone used to make an image is if you right click on the image here in PirateDiffusion in Telegram and reply to the image. And then where you would normally do your remix or whatever, you can just type in ShowPrompt. So just like that. Boom. Wow, that was so fast. And then what do we got here? What am I looking at here, Eggs?
So you'll see there, that's actually just the most recent step. Your render can be a multi-step process if you want it to be. You can upscale your renders. You can change them. So you can see that's what I entered to change my initial render. We can look, let's take a look. Let me pull that up real quick.
Sure.
And we could dissect that.
So I can even dig a little deeper too, right? With the ShowPrompt. Can I dig back all the way to your original?
Yeah. So if you put in the same command that you did, if you reply to that same image, but add /history, it'll show you the entire render history.
Boom. Let's do it. Oh, cool. Okay. So it was just 2. Sweet. Oh, and it even gives me the ability to view the render if I have access to that community or that room where it was rendered. That's pretty cool. Once I have this here.
It'll even show you options here that weren't entered. So there's certain things that are chosen at random. So I don't always specify a seed, but if you look at it based on render here, it's got a seed and they all have seed. But there's a couple things that are randomly generated if you don't specify them, like guidance or seed or sampler.
Right. Yeah.
So you can see the seed was randomized. So when you see these in a show prompt, I wouldn't assume that the person chose all of these parameters, especially if you see something like guidance 12.44. I didn't choose 12.44. That was just a random number in a range. Yeah. So
once I've got this now, if I wanted to capture or use this to render my own versions of your image, would I be able to? Now that I've looked it up, because this is a lot. Yeah. Do I copy paste this?
You should be able to just click on it as well. Where it says based on, and there's that chunk of text. You should be able to click on it and automatically copy it, and you can just directly paste it.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Cool. I don't need to type a thing.
Nope.
We'll just hit render. I'm just going to put the images to 2, hit render, and I'm rendering in silent mode. So there isn't any acknowledgements from the bot, but that is going, and that's going ahead. That's really cool. So are you telling me that I can find like any image online and put it in here and get the prompt? Or are these just other people in the community? Are we limited there, or what's the situation on that one?
So for now, you have to use ShowPrompt on a render that was created with the community, and it has a caption. So if you see in the one that I forwarded, it has all that caption information. And that is what holds all this
Yeah.
information. I believe it comes from one of these debug IDs at the end, but that's not super important.
I wanted to show off a little bit the new spin command that we have. It's very experimental.
So spin is like what? It's like a collage. It automatically assembles it.
Yeah, it definitely works better if you remove background before you spin.
It guesses what the object looks like at all different angles. Is what you're
Interesting.
saying.
It's definitely a fun thing to play with.
This is probably not the best object to to rotate. But I didn't realize what. Yeah, the initial render, I didn't realize that the horse is already fused to the wall, kind of.
What the back side of that looks like.
Right, is that the back leg or is that a reflection of the leg and it coming on the wall? This doesn't make any
I
sense.
see no problems here.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
Yes.
It is. You get out of it what you put into it. That's so good. So I had this weirdo. It looks like this is what one of my bots shot out when I said go render in potato mode, and it gave I guess snowman guy, and then I used \BG. And look at that beautiful that's a really nice.
Almost looks
crop.
3D.
Yeah, and then used spin on it, and it added like fabric wrinkles to the back of his sweater around his back. Totally not visible. This is the scarf kind of a shirt, but that's so cool. It's pretty fun.
Wonder if it'll spin this sculpture.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. It almost looks like it just works.
So to harden it, maybe the future version of spin will res down to a safe resolution, and then it'll spin, make it a little bit easier to use for folk.
That sounds
There we go.
fantastic. I just
Sweet.
love how quickly things go from wouldn't it be a cool idea to now it's a feature.
Yeah, that's something that's pretty unique that maybe I take for granted. I guess also for folks listening in for the first time, we're building a completely different, unique language to use over chat for Stable Diffusion. So if you've used Stable Diffusion as Auto 111 or one of these apps, all of those functions are possible just by a chat interface. So we can all jump into a chat room and use really powerful Stable Diffusion commands. And it's just such a fast way to create images.
Oh yeah,
Very addictive. It's very addictive.
yeah, it definitely is. It's pretty all consumes all the time entirely. It's so good once you get into it. Yeah, it's fun that must really play that sculpture. You could have told me that that's like somebody's portfolio
Some
piece.
3D rendering.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if it would do. Yeah, so I'm just thinking of the possibilities now, and that's one of the most amazing things is once you start wrapping your brain around all the different capabilities here inside the ecosystem, and then you start thinking, well, render can get me some basic images, and then I can scale them up or do a remix into this other thing, and then do a control net to repaint a certain part of it. Oh, and then I can pop it off the background, and now I can now we're spinning things, and it's just yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
a bit of a fan.
We've got another new feature that we've rolled out called Translate. Translate is a parameter of render, and you can prompt in over 50 languages now. You don't even have to specify the language. You can just go into it.
So I've been doing it a little bit above, but just as a real basic intro, we've got so \render, and I'm going to say 3 kittens in French, but I'm going to pass the word translate, and let's just say images 2, and my favorite, which is photon, and let's just bump up the size just a little bit so we can get some HD kittens, hopefully. So we got Wa Chaton with translate, and let's see what it does with that. And if I scroll up, I just want to show another a fun result that came from it. So this one here, I said, render. Il y a une grande pomme et rouge en haut de la château. My French teacher is going to be rolling in her grave about this. En dessous de certains nuages jaunes. Translate. Images 4. So what I tried to say was, there's a big red apple on top of a castle underneath certain yellow clouds. So what you can do is so these are the outputs. If you look down below in the caption, it will say the message in the translated to English. So we can verify there is a large red apple at the top of the castle above some yellow cloud. How cool. That's super cool because there's no apple in that one. There's a little apple, but super interesting. And I'm just thinking of all the different possibilities now because you go online, right? And you can see prompts there's just an endless international community you can copy paste, bring it over, translate, and see what can happen with it. It's not perfect, but it's really interesting. Like this one was a blue potato at the bottom of a bus underneath some clouds in a tornado. It's doing stuff and it's interpreting a lot of that, but it's super interesting. Okay, here we go. So trois chatons. So 3, there we go. Perfect. 3 kittens and you're done. I
That's
wonder if it
okay.
helps like my bad slang if I'm just typoing and I can, if I think that I'm making too many typos, I can do translate. I wonder if it would change that.
That's a really good point. So one of the limitations is definitely slang. It's very literal. I speak broken Spanish and I tried. So my translate command was tres gatos adentro de un cubo de hielo. And cubo can either mean bucket or literally cube. So I didn't get a bucket. I got, so you can see in the, so there's probably a more proper way to say bucket in like proper Spanish, which I don't speak.
Right.
But so it understood it as 3 cats inside an ice cube.
Oh my goodness.
But
Oh, wow.
no cats were harmed in the simulation.
It definitely seems helpful for people to just pick up the tools and hit the ground running in their native language, though.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why, how about this? I've got an idea here as a test. I'll take the command I just gave. So it's les macarons. I'll put on the French accent. Les macarons sont des petits gâteaux ronds et colorés. Très populaire. Oh my God, this one. Pâtisserie. Anyways, let's see what it does if I don't have translate on there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until the image comes, and then I'm going to capture the seed. That way we can lock it down, and we'll know. Actually, we'll do ShowPrompt. So I'll try ShowPrompt with a translate.
We're going to get the French president.
You might. Yeah, who knows, right? Because that's something I've noticed as well is, and this is playing along with that, when you enter certain words in as your render inputs, if they're in another language, or even if they're in a font, like a foreign font, the imagery will instantaneously, no matter what you put in, it will start changing representative of what I believe. Like it goes above my head in terms of why. Something about, I imagine the training data was quite limited. For those, that look yummy. Oh my gosh. Have you guys ever had macaroons before? Macarons? I think I totally
Oh yeah.
Macaroons.
forked that up. Is that not what they're called? Macarons?
I
Am
don't
I saying it wrong?
I don't know the difference.
Oh, is it really macaroons in English?
You mean delicacies? I thought macaroons were
know.
like the rosebuds or whatever, like the little chocolate thing.
It was some other kind of cookie. I don't know. Shows our knowledge about foreign cookies.
Oh yeah, you can get all your travel tips from the PirateDiffusion show.
Mess it around.
What the heck is that? A drop of water with a tree in it? Wow.
Nice.
I'm just messing around with different styles here. That's wild.
Cool, guys. I think that's all the time we have today. Thanks, everybody. If you have questions for us or ideas for a future show, definitely give us a shout. YouTube comments or in the Telegram group.
That went fast.
Definitely would love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you ever need any help, just post in that group and somebody will be in there to help you with prompting or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yep. Give us a shout. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks
All right,
for tuning
everybody.
in.
And Squib.
Yep,
Egg Squib. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
We'll do another for episode 3.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Fun.
Take care, y'all.
You
Have a
guys.
good one.
See you guys later.